Called to order at 6:02 p.m. I'll have our city manager do the invocation. Mr. Treasurer, the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Sir. We start with the prayer first, or?
If we could all bow our heads, close our eyes. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving us time today to meet, to convene on city business. I would like to request that we protect all our city employees, families, and the hard workers of Hawthorne. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, folks, for being here. Mr. Clerk, the roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Montero.
Present.
Councilmember Reyes English.
Here.
Councilmember Valentine.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Patterson.
Here.
And Mayor Vargas.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you, sir. Mr. City Clerk? Needs to be separate. Okay, but either way, they'll get the message across. Thank you. Item number 1 is Republic Services. Presentation from Dawn Harris Benton. Welcome. Good to see you here.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, and Council. And I'm here tonight. My name is Dawn Harris Benton, and I am here tonight to provide an update on the implementation of the SB 1383 program here in the city of Hawthorne. And what I want to share with you first, or is somebody doing this from out? That'll be me. Just want to show you a quick little clip so that everybody is aware of some of the outreach we have for you.
Did you know California has enacted SB 1383, the Organics Recycling Law, to reduce the amount of organic waste going into landfills? How can you do your part to comply with SB 1383? Add your food waste to your existing yard waste debris cart so it can be processed as its own unique material stream. Together, we can comply with the law and do our part to help combat the climate crisis. Republic Services, we are sustainability in action.
Okay. So, and with that being said, I will give you guys a slideshow so that, oh, sorry about that. Let's see.
Touch a truck. Did you know?
Okay, a little help here?
You want to see your PowerPoint, right?
Yes, please.
Always coming up with ways to build strong relationships with the community. Reporter.
Thank you very much. No problem. Okay, here's our first
Well,
do-over.
you're an active participant in all those events, so thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so here's my, the update. The SB 1383 program that we implemented in the city of Hawthorne is not something that we created, just Republic Services. This is a state required, it's a law. And so the goal of this law is to reduce climate pollutants. And so with that, I will let you know that it is mandated by the state of California, not the city. We wanted to reduce methane gases in the landfills. There are very stringent rules that are part of this law that everybody is required to follow, and that's every jurisdiction, every city. I don't actually live in Hawthorne, but I still have to abide by this, so it's everybody. And then what the law also requires is that we encourage residents and businesses to share their edible food with places and people that need it, so that the goal is to feed people, not dumpsters. And so our part of that is to try to connect your local businesses, your local restaurants with soup kitchens or local churches or other organizations that are able to get food to folks that need it. And I think I already mentioned, it's state mandated but not state funded. Okay? And then next I have for you just an overview of the actual requirements of the law. And these include things like the organics collection services, which that means that if you're at home, you're putting your food in with your green waste. The edible food recovery programs, we use food finders, and we found a new outreach at your local, at your recent event at World Fest. So they will be helping us to get food delivered from restaurants to other organizations that need it. We are also working with your city to help you to procure recyclable items such as paper, tires, and other materials that you would use in the course of a business day to, conduct business at your city. So recyclable materials. Also, there's a compliance aspect of it. We have people that will literally go flip lids and see that residents and businesses are using the program properly. I know it's a lot. We also are looking for ways to help the city of Hawthorne to ensure that there's infrastructure to use the compost that comes as a result of everybody recycling their organics. And also wanted to share part of the process is to make sure that the city uses recovered organic products to the tune of 160 pounds of organics waste per person. So it's a heavy lift, but it's something that's got to be done. I mentioned before that the edible food recovery programs is something that we're working hard with the city to lockstep together. Also want to share the part of the outreach is not just the little blurb that I showed earlier, but actually we have representatives in the field. You maybe met them at your recent events, parades, dinners. We've got folks out there that go business to address their concerns, answer questions, give education, and then also tell them how to participate. Also wanted to share with you the inspection and enforcement requirements. So it's not just that they gave us all these things to do. There are deadlines by which we need to enforce certain things so that in this year, 2022, you're ahead of the game because you've already adopted an ordinance, right, that requires folks to participate properly. There needs to be the ordinance, which you've got, and it has to be enforceable. And then between this year and 2024, we will have people on the streets on the routes, on the trucks, doing compliance reviews, just making sure, again, that people know how to use the programs, that they're using it correctly. They'll review routes. And we actually ended up getting an additional staff member to conduct outreach in the field. And then finally, by 2024, that's when everything starts to really kick into high gear, when we do the compliance reviews to make sure that everybody's using the programs properly. At that time, if things are not the way they really need to be, then there's the potential that there could be penalties for violators. So it's really important that everybody participate. This is really quick, something that you probably are familiar with. You've got the 3 containers at your homes and at your businesses. There are containers for trash, recycling, and organics. We will help people that need to have a little bit more information about how to use those. We can definitely do that. We end up with questions about what's left for the trash. It's a very good question. You end up with things like diapers and some candy wrappers and, plastic cups that are not recyclable and things like that. What we're hoping that results from this is, as people use the recycling programs better, they'll have the ability to reduce the size of their trash containers, which could reduce their rates. So we will be encouraging all of your residents and businesses to use the program properly. And then again, commercial, same thing. We will have people going, reps going door to door or business to business to help out. Next. Okay. More about what we did to alert everyone to the program. The city sent a letter. We sent brochures to residents and businesses. We did robocalls. We took brochures and we handed them out at your events. And then we also have people, again, in the field going business to business to help people understand what the program is. A few notes on how to prepare your food for recycling. One of the best practices is to either use the countertop recycler so that you can put your food waste in there and store it there until it's time to put in your green container. Or my personal favorite, and what I do at home, is I keep all of my food in a plastic baggie and then I freeze it. And then when it's trash day, I go throw it in and it's like a big brick. So I don't have to contend with any aromas or other pests or anything like that. So also you could use a paper bag. If you want to put your food in the paper bag before it goes into the green, that's something that might help to reduce the odor. Also, baking soda. We've been learning from your residents. They tell us the things that they do. Okay. Commercial restaurants, we have people that will go to the restaurants and tell them how to have their kitchen staff to prepare the food for recycling. Here's a big one, the costs, right? We are aware that there's a cost for all of this, and so these things that we have noted here are just some of the things that go into the cost for this program. So additional routes, trucks, more staff, taking the debris further. We have to take it here on Rosecrans, but then after that, it has to go to a new facility, and then after that, it needs to be trucked into mid-central California. So there's a lot that goes into this. Again, not something that everybody really wants to hear, but it's definitely something that has to do with the cost for all of this. And then finally, this is just keeping it real. I mentioned how the penalties and enforcement go along, but the main thing that we want to do is make sure that everybody knows how to use the program before the time comes that penalties can kick in. So we're on it in the field. If residents or businesses have questions at all, they can certainly give us a call. I'll share our phone number, and then we'll have somebody go out to the site to work with them and answer any question for them or their staff. And we have contact information there, and you could email or call, and we'll be happy to go out and take a visit to your property.
Don,
Yes.
thank you for being here and talking to everyone about this. You and I, we talked like about a week ago or so on this specific thing, I guess, as a result of that, you're here. Just to let everybody know, because there is a frustration that there's an extra cost to the residents. And it's one of those complaints that I've always have, is that the state, California, the people up there in the legislature come up with all these initiatives, and you know, we end up having to pay for all these things, either being taxed or fees in our trash bill, et cetera. But I suppose it's well-intentioned, but I think scientifically, it's kind of questionable, to be honest, from my perspective. But we have to abide, so you've provided the community with the proper information and suggestions, so I really appreciate that, and hopefully everybody will just start following through so that they don't get penalized. And if they don't like this whole concept, well, be careful who you vote for, right? So,
Through the chair.
yes.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing this information in such a clear fashion, and thank you for your constant partnership with the City of Hawthorne whenever we have events. I did want to ask you about the cost. How much of an increase is expected to the residents? Do you have any idea?
I do have that idea, but I don't have it with me, and it's already in effect.
I
right?
understand.
So, but
It's going to be, well, you mean the cost is in effect?
yeah, the rates are already in effect for
Okay.
this.
What I'd like to do is to find out how much of an increase is expected. If you could get that information to me, I'd appreciate it. Because what I'd like to do is to see if we can seek reimbursement from the state. I don't see why the residents should have to be burdened with mandates that come from the state. We do have many this is not the only one.
Sure.
But I certainly would like to see if we can seek reimbursement. So if you could find out how much our costs are expected to be, I will try to see if we can do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll do.
To the chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. John, thanks for coming out and giving the presentation. I wanted to ask, is there going to be a complaint line? Because I'm sure there's going to be those that follow the rules and those that don't. Especially apartment complexes, buildings, large buildings. So is there going to be for compliance purposes and enforcement, is there going to be a complaint line where folks are going to be able to call in and give specific information for the compliance?
Absolutely. So anybody can call our 800 number, and what they do is they end up giving it to us on the email, and then we'll follow up in the order that it came. And we've already been doing that, so we literally send somebody out to address whatever it is at the business.
Can you give some history? If not, that's okay. Maybe a presentation like this that could be in a brochure for residents to know and understand how it came about.
Oh, sure.
That we have SB 1383, which is environmentally introduced, right? But I think if there's a timeline on how it was introduced and, you know, the specific goals, and then ultimately, you know, there's more than one person, I should say, voting on any given time, right? When you come up with these types of Senate bills, et cetera. But if you could make it into a format of some sort so that residents could have that information and they could understand how we came to arrive at where we are today.
Okay.
And then you said that it's implemented through the state. However, there's no cost that help us or offset cost to the residents. So ultimately, it has to be offset somehow. And so that's I think the big question individuals have, at least from what I'm hearing from the community.
Sure.
And concerns that they have. Just like anything, for instance, California Edison, right, when it comes to fires that are going on. some of those costs are being put on residents, right?
Yes.
And people want to know why. If there's those types of explanations that are more explanation-friendly, so that we could truly understand where all of our money's going from utilities to environmental services.
Okay,
Thank you.
I will pull that right off the state website, and I'll get that.
Thanks.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Ms. Dawn. Thank you very much for coming. And also, I want to say thank you because Republic Service has been a great partner for us, to all the events that we do every year. So thank you very much for the partnership. Now, just piggyback on Ms. English, because the apartment building is the one that's having a tremendous challenge, right? Because the owners, sometimes they got the bills, they got all the information, but it doesn't pass on to the tenants. And then they finding difficult how to enforce each tenant to recycle that food. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that we can do or Republic can do to reach out, not just to the owners, but also to the tenants itself? Because some of them, they don't pay for the trash, right, for the apartment building. And then is the landlord that have to, call and ask for that green band. And I understand, for example, one green band can cost between $37 and $40 per unit, right? Because I ordered 3 of them, so I know what is going on. So, but is it difficult is to tell the tenants how to recycle the food. That's the challenge we're having.
So I think one of the things that would be very helpful, we have several of these videos. Now, what I showed you was a 30-second, but we have a couple that are a little bit longer, more involved. So we can share those so that residents in apartments and multifamily units will be able to see more of what happens. And then we're also happy to come out and do demonstrations. We do it in other jurisdictions, so if you have the Apartment Homeowners Association for City of Hawthorne, we can come and do demonstrations there. Or if there are, I don't know, town hall meetings or meetings for the different complexes or homeowners associations, we'll be happy to come out.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Don.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Mayor Pro Tem Patterson, item 2, the Basketball Academy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is Coach Cooper here? Just come on up. Give you a quick introduction. So, quick background. Police department reached out to me with an idea of wanting to do some more things in the community to build some greater relationships, and that kind of conversation came out of my desire to have more people from our community, serve on our police department. And they had an idea of doing like a basketball clinic of some sort. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know, I know nothing about basketball. Don't play, ain't no good, couldn't tell you name any of the positions. So I had to reach out to somebody I knew that knew something about basketball that connected me with Coach Cooper, and Coach Cooper, city manager, and the police department came together. It was actually 2 officers specifically, Sergeant Kitty Craig and Detective Sean Kemp. Came together with the coach and put together a basketball clinic. And I wanted to thank Coach Cooper, his organization and staff for your contribution of really making it happen. They ran the entire kind of academy over the course of a week and had some games on Saturday, and I showed up and waved and all that stuff. But I understand it was great participation. I think it was about 80 to 90 kids that participated. And so I'm hoping we can do that more often. But I did want to thank you and present you some recognition, and hope my council colleagues would join us for a picture. And I also believe that the city manager has put together like a quick video of kind of that experience. So
Would you like to view the video before photos, or would you like that in?
yeah, absolutely. Actually, we have Coach Cooper. I don't know if you want to say a couple words, and you definitely view the video.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for giving being gracious enough to give me the opportunity to even partner with you guys on this. The kids were great. They were excited about the idea of, one of the officers said, I'd rather chase them around the court than to chase them around the city. And I understood that. You know, I grew up in an environment where basketball took me away from all of the different distractions. And I went on to play professionally overseas in college basketball and got to see the whole world. You know, I spent 10 years just living in Europe and seeing a lot of things. And I just think it's an opportunity to give back to the young kids. And I appreciate you and Bernard and everyone that was involved in bringing us down. So,
Awesome. Yeah, we can go ahead and play the video.
Welcome back. The Hawthorne Police Department is always coming up with ways to build strong relationships with the community. Reporter Kayla Mueller headed to the Beatty Ainsworth Sports Center to check out their latest gig.
Well, it looks like these athletes have a lot to teach me, so let's take a look at the first annual Basketball Academy.
Initiated by Hawthorne's Mayor Pro Tem L. David Patterson, this is a week-long camp designed for young athletes to hone in their skills while building relationships.
Here you're seeing a basketball academy for youth ages 12 to 17 as an effort to kind of integrate and build camaraderie between the neighborhood and the police officers.
To be honest, the best thing that I see is when I get to look around and I see other officers here from the department as well that are working with the kids and talking to the kids and making sure that the kids feel comfortable.
These athletes are learning fundamentals with Coach Eric Cooper Sr. along with volunteer coaches.
We focus on fundamental stuff. You know, a lot of times kids want to learn the Steph Curry step back, but first of all, Steph Curry learned how to do fundamentals. And so we do passing, shooting, dribbling, defense.
The Hawthorne Police Officers Association played a huge role in making this free for the kids to participate.
The backbone of this, making it happen, was the Hawthorne Police Officers Association. They're contributing the funds to buy equipment, purchase shirts, food for the kids, really make this event go.
My goal is synchronized with the police department. The whole purpose of us being here is one of the policemen told me, he said, well, I'd rather chase the kids around on the basketball court than to chase them around in the community later on. And I said, okay, I get that.
The kids participating range from beginners to more experienced. And their favorite part of the camp thus far?
I know a lot of people here, so I'm having fun. And it's just a good environment. It's a lot of coaches, and they're teaching us, and just being in the gym, honestly.
But it's not all fun and games. Coach Cooper Sr. wants his athletes to understand the balance between discipline and having a good time.
The message is that you have to learn how to get instruction from authority figures and to learn how to prosper in that environment. And so we give them a certain amount of instruction, a certain amount of discipline, and then they thrive in it, and they get to do the things that they want to do. And that's kind of what life is like.
While this was the first Hawthorne PD Basketball Academy, they hope to do it annually for many years to come. For HCTV, I'm Kayla Mueller.
To keep up with what else the PD is doing with the community, check out their Instagram at Hawthorne Police.
And I also want to thank the staff, though, for all their hard work in putting this together. I understand, Jerry, the city manager, and his staff over at the Parks and Rec Department, obviously did a lot of the heavy lifting to make sure this was possible. So I want to thank you guys for that as well. We have Coach Cooper. I don't know if you brought any of your anybody from your staff with you or not, but please come on down and let's take a picture.
Okay, yeah. My son actually helped out. He's playing pro ball in Ireland, so he cannot be here today.
That's awesome.
To the chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, thank you, Coach Cooper. I see you back there, Bernard. Good to see you guys. That's a really great effort, and got kudos to our police department, Hawthorne Police Officers Association, for the good work that you're continuously doing to show face and, more importantly, to get community participation. So kudos to all, and thank you, Councilman Patterson, for bringing this to us.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Montero, please proceed with your presentation on the World Fest event, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, we hold the second annual World Fest on September 17 to celebrate our diversity in the city of Hawthorne and to celebrate culture and to bring people together. So we did have 35 different vendors, food trucks, 8 groups, musicians, from Africa, from Peru to South America to Mexican mariachi, and the kids dancing from Fantasia and the Mexico folkloric dancers. So it was a very successful event. So I'm going to ask Mr. Von Norris and Eric to play the video, and then I'm going to recognize some of the staff because, without them, this event could not be put together as successful it was. Thank you, Eric. So at this time, I'm going to call some names so you guys can come in, and then I'll give you the certificate, and then we'll take a picture together. So Von Norris, my team leader. Kawana Bowie. Gerard Ariate. Brenda Williams. Akbar. Selena. Kimberly Mack. Gerard Duran. Nicole, Eric Chavez, Lieutenant Amy Yoshida, I think she was in another event, and Ray Pedroza. So all these wonderful principal and staff. They work very hard to put that festival together. And we have to say thank you to all the sponsors because, all the musician and event, everything was paid by the sponsors. So no money came from the general fund. So, but thank you all the staff. So if we can take a picture all together, please.
Huh?
They could play the music the entire council meeting. Keeps the beat going.
Yep.
And I think Eric is going to show you a little bit of piece of the how the setup and the dismantle went, because we started like about 5 o'clock in the morning, right? So he's going to show you a little bit of the setup event.
Hawthorne has held many big events this year, and they all take a lot of work on the day of and even months before. Here's a glimpse into what it took to put World Fest on this year.
We are setting up for the big event that's called World Fest. We're setting up tables, chairs, tents, and kind of just setting up where everyone will go.
Months prior to an event, there are meetings and countless hours that organizers put in behind the scenes.
People don't think about what goes into an event. So, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes just to make the show start.
We do setup, we do cleanup, we're putting out some booths.
We're gonna do balloon arrangements, balloon garlands, and balloon arches. So we're trying to make the place look colorful.
Safety is also considered when planning day events, from signage, barricades, and security, just to make sure everyone has a fun and safe time.
I mean, everyone's having fun on the inside, but the outside's the most important because that prevents you and protects you from accidents or catastrophes or something like that.
Even though it was like smaller things, it's everything that just helps everything run smoothly because it's such a big event. So every little thing matters.
Even though there's always a leader of an event, it takes an entire team and many hands to put something like this together and for it to be a success.
It's crucial because without them, this event wouldn't be made possible.
Once the event is over, crews are ready for breakdown to leave everything like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, and we want to say thank you to all the volunteers, that who participate, and especially the high school kids, the key clubs and the Rotary clubs. So thank you very much. And also, I want to say thank you to the Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who gave us this certificate of appreciation for us to have this event, and also the California legislator Tina McCartney for sending us this assembly certificate, and also the Board of Supervisors. The Honor Holly Mitchell sent us this certificate. So thank you very much. And like I said, we'll do it better and better next year. Thank you.
To the chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, thank you, Councilmember Montero. I know it takes a lot of work. I've seen you in the office. It takes a year out just for planning and preparations, and to just all staff, Public Works, everybody involved. Great work. You could see from the video all the fun everyone's having. But thank you, Vaughn, for your leadership too. And just want to say kudos. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Great job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next I'll proceed with our last presentation. I'll start it off the Touch a Truck Children's Book Fair event. So it was a combination of Touch a Truck and book fair, emphasizing the literacy aspect of a child's experience and also the recreational part of a child's experience. And many of us up here on the dais and many of you out in the audience remember playing with your little trucks, your cars, your matchboxes, with the Hot Wheels, the Tonka trucks, and we all had fun playing with these. But when we saw the actual trucks driving past us or down our streets, we were amazed when we would see these things, cruise by. But we would never be able to get up close. So so that's something that I saw in another city. I think in where was it, Pomona or Ontario or so. They had announced that they were going to have a Touch a Truck event, and I inquired as to what it was, and it's just exactly that. They line up all the trucks, all the different trucks you can imagine of large size, industrial, emergency vehicles, service trucks, etc. All the ones that we used to play with, and we were impressed. Booms, and people come and then they play with them and just jump on them and honk the horn all day, right? Isn't that most of the kids were honking all day? So I feel it was a great event. And if you could show the video, you'll see for yourself what was involved.
Touch a Truck and Children's Book Fair brought construction and transport vehicles, tow trucks, and thousands of books for kids to take home.
What do you guys think of all the free books? Yay! We love books at the house, right? Fantastic.
So we have Hawthorne School District, we have the South Bay WIB, we have Rooted Friends Project, LA County Library, South Bay Literacy, a lot of different organizations that focus on literacy and promoting literacy for families and kids of all ages.
To see actually the kids taking books and also to behind us, to listen to the stories. So that is fantastic.
Thousands of free books and backpacks, art supplies, and literacy resources were given out to those in attendance.
Books, even coloring books, even some little packets of crayons, and I love it so much.
Today we have around 5,000 books for the children, which is very exciting.
The Hawthorne School District also sees the importance of reading outside the classroom and developed the reading program, Footsteps to Brilliance.
So the program is an app-based program. You can load it on any device, and it'll give you an endless bank of books, stories, games, activities, really engaging stuff for kids in English and Spanish.
Many trucks were also brought out for families to learn all about.
A lot of the times the kids see these on the streets, but they don't know what they do. So they wanted to have like a truck show for these heavy pieces of equipment so that the kids can see what they do and get to play with them.
The children are able to come out and go up to the trucks they always see driving down their street, jump into them. As you can hear, honking on the horns.
They get a chance to meet the people who operate the public works trucks, to see what they do, to see how the trucks operate.
I think this is awesome. The variety of trucks that are here, teaching the kids about all the services that are in our city and all of the things that help us with our day-to-day lives. It's awesome.
There was a great turnout for this first-time event that the Community Services Department says they hope to bring back in the future.
Awesome. So we did give the certificates at the event. So each participant and the nonprofits that came out and donated the books received certificates at the event. So of course, I want to thank all the city staff that participated, and Vaughn, I think it was a combination of Vaughn and his team over there at the Community Services Department, and one of our commissioners at that time, Denisha Sanford, who also participated on my behalf as well. Can you name the people that were involved from your community services team, sir?
Absolutely. We have in the back row, we have Brenda Williams.
If you could stand, please.
Brenda Williams, please stand. Jerry Idiate, please stand. Miss Nicole, please stand. Selena, not from my department, but another department that helped out strategically, her supervisor, Akbar. And behind Selena, we have Geraldo Duran. And we have former Commissioner, Donisha Stanford. If I left anyone, I don't think I left anyone out, but this is the team that assisted with your leadership to put on this event.
Well, thank you so much, and we give you a round of applause and appreciation for an awesome event.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It was a lot of fun, actually. So, because we, see people come from all over Hawthorne. It was not just from different neighborhoods, but different neighborhoods. From east and west, they came together to see those trucks. See the face of the kids, and especially the kids that take the books home. So that I was very proud because nowadays you only see kids on social media, right, on their smartphone and stuff, but they were actually taking those books home. So that was I was very proud of our children. Thank you. It was great.
Through the chair, thank you. I'd like to congratulate Mayor Vargas for the idea. I think it was a very clever idea, and thank you for all the city staff that participated. Something like this, as was said by Council Member Montero, very educational for the kids to actually get out and touch the trucks that they see on the streets every day, and also to be able to purchase books or to obtain books, to get books and take books home, and hopefully to read those books and to get into the habit of reading. So it was a very educational event and very cleverly put together. So, and congratulations to all those who put this together. Thank you.
And one thing that I wanted to let everybody here know is that the city of Hawthorne has an awesome list of events. Of course, we're helped organized by our community services department. Just today, we heard about the basketball academy that we have, the World Fest. We have our new Touch a Truck. These are going to be recurring events every year. Growing and growing. We have my basketball tournament that I host in November. We have the Bunny Breakfast. We have the Winter Wonderland, Earth Day Service Provider Fair. We have a carnival that we hope to have, like the one we did for the Centennial, just have that at least, and if possible, an annual parade, if possible. And just so many other events. I mean, I probably missed 2 or 3 or 4.
We have the Hawthorne Business Expo
the Hawthorne
on
Business
April
Expo?
26th next year.
I'm so sorry.
And Halloween.
You see how many events? I can't even list them all.
Christmas decoration.
Christmas decoration. I mean, you guys see? We have a lot of events. So, and what I particularly liked about the World Fest and, the Touch a Truck is that now we see people from all corners of the community, okay? We need to do away with this thing that we're west and east of the 405. We don't need that type of elitism here in the city. We need everybody to participate and be part of our whole community because everybody pays taxes, everybody participates in all the events that we have. We pay for all the resources and all the services. All the parks are open to every single resident to visit. All the community centers are open for everybody. It's time to make sure that we promote it and make sure that all of our residents participate, okay? There's no need to go down into these other cities. I mean, hey, aren't people from the beach cities moving into the city of Hawthorne because they can't afford to live there anymore? Yep. The Shepherd should know. A lot of other people should know. So, hey, start participating. Let's make Hawthorne something that everybody could benefit, okay? My 2 cents, but I'm just really happy that everybody's coming together and we're seeing people from all corners of the community. So, reason to celebrate. So, thank you guys. Mr. City Clerk?
Yes, pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, all remarks shall be addressed to the City Council as a body and not to any individual council member. During oral communications, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies as a body shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer any remarks to the city manager for study, investigation, report, and or recommendation.
Mr. Rosendo, come up, please. Are you speaking to the council? Iba a hablar, pedir algo, ¿verdad? Go ahead. We'll figure it out.
Mi nombre es Rosendo Gómez.
¿Que se oiga? Aquí.
Mi nombre es Rosendo Gómez. Vivo aquí en la Gale y en Hawthorne, Gale en la 118. Quiero hablar yo qué cosa que pasó hace 3 semanas. Hace 3 semanas pasó un accidente. Un señor pegó a 6 carros y de ahí se llevó a mi hijo. Casi me lo mató. estuvo 2 semanas en el hospital y el señor lo agarraron y a las 30 horas salió el señor, está afuera en su casa y a los 8 días pasó otro accidente enfrente de mi casa, en el mismo lugar, por carros que pasan fuerte. Está el taller también de ahí de la Ingleboy y 118, cuando arreglan los carros, pasan muy fuerte, calando los carros a ver si ya están bien, a ver si ya quedaron bien arreglados, pasan muy fuerte por ahí, en el día, en la noche, a todas horas. Hay días que no lo hacen, hay días que sí, pero más lo hacen, más tiempo lo hacen caminar muy rápido. Mi hijo va a tener su operación mañana, 2 operaciones, una a la cadera, otra a la rodilla. Y quería yo ver si se podría hacer algo, poner topes en la calle para que así dejen de caminar un poco más fuerte, o no sé si hay que esperar a que maten a alguien para que lo hagamos, porque hace tiempo yo lo estuve pidiendo, no se hizo. Entonces me gustaría que, como dicen que hay que estar unidos, entonces me gustaría que todos estuviéramos unidos para hacer, donde mira el peligro, estar ahí y ayudar. Y si es posible de ese barrio, pues si podemos ir a otro a ayudar también, pues hacerlo, ¿no?
Okay.
Si es que estar todos unidos.
Yo le traduzco. So, gentlemen,
Gracias.
let's quédese ahí. Okay, no, yeah, I know exactly right because he told me he was going to come. So, gentleman says that they're speeding up and down Gale between 118th and 120th Street.
Yeah.
So they're speeding up and down. Not only are the individuals just racing down the street, kind of some like nimwits over there, yeah, but also the 118th and Inglewood mechanics are driving their cars to test them out, but speeding down the street. It's the adjacent street to their mechanic shop. And so one of these days there was this one guy who drove through speeding, and he banged up like 4 or 5 or 6 cars. But in the process, he kind of just dragged his son off, and he damaged his hip. Caderas, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
He damaged his hip as a result of that. So he's asking for speed bumps or some type of deterrent so that there's no speeding, and just doesn't want to wait till somebody gets killed to be able to do this. So I think it'd be worth talking to him offline and just seeing what we can do here. If you could give us a solution, right?
El carro lo agarró y lo fue tallando entre los demás carros así, y llegó y lo metió debajo de otro carro, entonces ahí quedó ya mi hijo, ahí ya.
It was just a mess where he was dragged in under a car and slammed up against other cars. So it's extreme. There's very irresponsible people down the street, is what he's telling me. Mucha gente irresponsable, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Okay. Hable con el manejador. Talk to the manager, city manager, and or through Gerardo. He'll take the details. Make sure we close the loop and get something here. Sir, go ahead. Yeah. We can hear you. We could.
It's on. Yeah. So his son is going to surgery tomorrow for ribs and legs. So that's how bad that accident was. So, and he said, unfortunately, the kid is alive. So.
Fortunately, right?
So maybe we'll give a directive later.
Of course. So if you could look at that and
On top of it, Mayor, we're aware of it. We had additional patrol this weekend. PD's aware of it, and they're going to work with the neighborhood to resolve the situation.
Sounds perfect. Board Michael Migo, he's outside, ready to come in, ready to run in. Sir?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Gordon Michael Migo, native and resident of Hawthorne since October the 8th, 1952. Making Hawthorne great again. That should be a campaign platform for all the candidates running for city office. I'm hearing from people out there that while there's a lot of issues out there that are of great concern to them, the downtown area where they see the big fortress, as it's being called, former Hawthorne Mall, that they want to see a concerted effort to bring shopping, dining, entertainment, kind of community events, open space, bicycle paths, maybe put skylights in the mall structures. As a matter of fact, with all the heat waves that we're having more and more every year, an enclosed mall with air conditioning makes more sense. Yeah, you hear all sorts of things being proposed. Some people say, "Oh, just tear it down, make a big giant park," or let's just put up a bunch of office buildings, or let's do this, that, and whatever. And I thought, no. When you have the stuff right here, people don't have to travel all over the place. We keep the millions of dollars in the community and so forth. Another item is the RFK Hospital site. Any city worth its salt has at least one major hospital. I mean, you look at Torrance, two major hospitals. You got Little Company of Mary, you got Torrance Memorial, and quite honestly, an effort needs to be put forward by all and sundry, and that includes the owner of the property that needs to make good on his signage, supporting Hawthorne, for the betterment of Hawthorne. Put true meaning into those words. And quite honestly, this idea of what was never built there, the 128 units, was never anything that a lot of people didn't support. And now there's even a proposal out there. Maybe he wants to just forget that and just go with a 600-unit condo project, a high density, whatever. And I thought, no. We can do that someplace else, if that's what he really wants. And quite honestly, we need to give people, just like in other communities that work together, pool their resources, financial and otherwise, to make things happen. We don't want to be some, backwoods town. We want to be a really top-notch city. We need to work together to make this happen. And all the candidates out there, like I said, your campaign platforms need to address these two elephants in the living room, so to speak, the Hawthorne Mall and the RFK Hospital, and I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sue Messenger.
Can you hear me? Good evening. First of all, thank you for allowing me to speak to all of you today. My name is Sue, and I've been a resident of Hawthorne since 2010. Prior to purchasing our home in the city, my husband and I lived in West LA, but spent nearly every weekend here in Hawthorne visiting family. This area has been a part of my life for 16 years. Therefore, I understand its stereotypes and appeal. I can attest that an appeal that was to move here was that it was quiet and an oasis from the busy city. I spent most of the month of June resting and healing on a lounge chair in my backyard. My backyard has been an oasis while I've recovered from ailments. It's a place where we roast marshmallows at night, listen to jazz, sip wine, and escape from the noise. On Tuesday, June 28th, I enthusiastically walked to our city's offices and submitted my ADU plans for approval. Our family has great plans of expanding our home and creating our dream oasis. Those plans are currently on pause, partly because the city still hasn't approved our building plans, and partly because the atmosphere in our city has since changed for the worse. Since July 2022, there has been an increase in air traffic. Small private airplanes fly by my home approximately every 10 to 15 minutes. On September 21st, I spoke with David Kessler, who is our regional environmental protection specialist. He informed me that helicopters do not have an altitude requirement, but private planes do. According to the Federal Aviation Administration Code of Federal Regulations Section Sign 121.657 Flight Altitude Rules, it says that any aircraft under VFR during the day, it has to basically fly at an altitude no less than 1,000 feet, okay? Last week I spoke to Annie over at the Hawthorne City Manager's Office, and she stated that the city manages the airport, but once the plane is in the air, what they do is out of our city's hands, and I would need to file a complaint with the FAA. I provided Annie with the flight information of the planes that were flying at that very moment under 1,000 feet of altitude, and she stated that she would investigate and either call me back or email me. She has neglected to do either. The constant noise has become a great stressor for our family, and I'm pretty sure that it's a significant stressor for all of the families, workers, and customers in the area. The pilots and passengers of those private planes are literally flying circles over our heads, robbing us of our peace and health. According to National Geographic, noise pollution is an invisible danger. It cannot be seen, but it is present nonetheless, both on land and under the sea. Noise pollution is considered to be any unwanted or disturbing sound that affects the health and well-being of humans and other organisms. May I please continue? I only have a little bit more.
Yeah, just give it a little 10,
Thank you.
15 seconds or so.
Okay, so according to National Geographic, noise pollution is considered to be any unwanted or disturbing noise or sound that affects the health and well-being of humans and other organisms. The most common health problem is it causes noise-induced hearing loss. Exposure to loud noise can also cause high blood pressure, heart disease, sleep disturbances, and stress. These health problems can affect all age groups, especially children. Many children who live near noisy airports or streets have been found to suffer from stress and other problems, such as impairments in memory, attention level, and reading skill. These planes are flying over our children who attend Zella Davis Elementary School, Ramona Elementary, Prairie Vista Middle School, Lucinger High School, and many more. These planes are also flying over all of our residents who have now retired and deserve to enjoy their leisure time in peace. I've been tracking these planes, and they're not all obeying the law. It's actually even more interesting that the ones that break the law are also the ones that keep flying in circles. Is this some sort of coincidence? I don't know. Just this morning at 11:46 in the morning, Christensen Aviation Flight N6011Q flew at least 3 loops over West 135th Street at an altitude of 800 feet. At 11:47 in the morning, Flight N67844 flew at an altitude of 700 feet from my neighborhood all the way to the 91 and 110 freeway intersection. At 11:56 in the morning, Christensen Aviation again flew over our schools at an altitude of 900 feet. Basically, what they're doing is they're just going in circles. And what they're doing is that they're flying right over 135th Street mainly, and as we all know, we have many schools in the area. Again, this was a different flight. This is the third one. At 11:57, Flight N1998R was flying over Prairie Vista Middle School at an altitude of 925 feet. This
Okay,
is all illegal. 1 second.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up, man. We're giving everybody 3 minutes, so if you want to.
Okay, I'm almost done. Fellow neighbors, I watched last week's city council meeting in preparation for today. I'm aware of our city's needs for revenue and new business. I'm here to inform you that our city doesn't need more LA entertainment. What we need is more investment in parks and recreational spaces where people feel safe and peaceful. I personally want to escape from the noise, so eating outdoors at a restaurant in Hawthorne is not an option I'm willing to consider at this time. We need businesses that improve our well-being, like spas, comedy clubs, innovative restaurants that provide entertainment for kids, some sort of upscale Chuck E. Cheese, healthy restaurants like Earth Cafe, indoor spaces for kids to play when the air quality is poor, bi-weekly art walks to support local artists and food vendors, make Hawthorne a place where people want to come as a family. Family is what brought me to this place, and it deeply saddens me to think that I may have to leave because my city's noise pollution is making me sick. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Through the chair, may I?
Just a real quick thing. Mr. City Manager, can you give her the fact sheet too? Because there's certain things that we as a city can and can't do. We don't have jurisdiction over the operations of the flight, of the airport.
May I just address that? Yeah.
We don't have a jurisdiction over the operations of the airport, yet we can appeal to the city, to the federal government. So our direct representative for that is Maxine Waters, but go ahead, you can give us more details.
Thank you. I'd
But
like to
briefly,
thank Ms. Messenger for her comments. We have the KHHR Community Noise Committee, which is dedicated exactly to what you were concerned about, and that is noise in the city. So we meet every quarter, and the next meeting is the third quarter, which is October, and it will be the third Thursday at 6 p.m. We meet over at the Memorial Center. We can get you the address if you want it, but that is exactly these are exactly the kinds of complaints that are taken up by that committee. The committee hears the comments of citizens who have complaints about noise and who want to report incidents like that. And so that is exactly what we do. We are very concerned about noise, and we do make every effort to address whatever concerns the citizens have about that.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. City Manager, can you please get her the fact sheet, pull it out, have Mr. Guido send that to her so she just kind of understands what we're facing or what our limitations are and what we can do? Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, just
Yeah,
to
go ahead,
FYI
sir.
that I received a text message
Sure.
today regarding the airport noises because, like all these things, especially the little jets flying over our homes towards Manhattan Beach. So
Of course.
there's a lot of complaints, from Ramona Track, from Holly Glen. And the circle that you see is the flight instructor. They teach them how to landing.
Okay. All right, so thank you, folks. We just can't have too drawn out of a response, ma'am. And we need to make sure we keep everybody's addresses up to 3 minutes, okay? Mr. City Clerk, can you please enforce that? Joseph Gamlick, please. If you can help me pronounce your last name, Gamlick? Was that okay?
Gumlick.
Gumlick. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for being here.
So, hello once again. I am here as a little bit of a continuation of my last address to the council 2 weeks ago about the City of Hawthorne requiring bicycle registrations. This is 10.76 in the Hawthorne Municipal Code. I've become aware that in the time since I last spoke, a bill has actually been signed by our governor. I'm referring to Assembly Bill 1909. It actually contains a provision that will make that section of the Hawthorne Municipal Code in conflict. So I guess that part will not be too big of an issue in the coming year. However, I still think it would be wise for the council to just remove the bicycle registration section from the municipal code, as even with the new assembly bill I referred to, the city is still unnecessarily saying that it has a process for collecting fees, distributing physical registration indica to be placed upon the bicycles. And I just do not think that whole process is a very worthwhile use of the city's, time, effort, or money, particularly since I'm not personally aware of anyone who has gotten said registrations, nor have I received any further instructions on how I can personally acquire such a registration from the city. Additionally, I would like to use the remaining bit of my time here tonight to talk about some other sections of the municipal code relating to bicycles that I found. So just real briefly, there's a section 9.43.020 B2, which states all operators of a two-wheeled vehicle must do it in a standing position. I don't know about you, but while I'm pedaling my bicycle, I would say I'm sitting rather than standing, but the operation of it while sitting is specifically prohibited in that section. This is further exacerbated by anyone who chooses to use a two-wheeled recumbent bicycle for the affordances it may provide them. This provision about having to be standing on two-wheeled vehicles just does not appear to be productive in any sense. Similarly, there's a provision B4 in there that talks about yielding and road position. And when applied to bicycles, it just murkies the water compared to the California Vehicle Code. I would consider that to be in conflict with the California Vehicle Code for bicycle operation. Similarly, B5 puts a 10-mile-per-hour speed limit on uncontrolled intersections, which is a lower limit than a motor vehicle going through a blind intersection. I personally would be much more concerned about 2-ton vehicles in blind intersections than I would be about a bicyclist going through an intersection with complete visibility when there are 0 other vehicles on the road. Intersections are often the most dangerous place to be, and so I would be interested in getting out of the intersection as quickly as possible when road conditions permit. Finally, I am glad to see traffic calming is on the agenda tonight in several ways, and I encourage the city to continue making our roads safer. It is much needed.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for noting that you're operating your bicycle correctly. You won't be getting a ticket. No, but so I think it's sometimes we periodically we look at our code, we clean it up, and there's certain things, especially now that we're moving more towards using bicycles to commute to work and encouraging that. So this is probably a few years old, or maybe a couple decades old. So thank you for bringing it to our attention and doing your due diligence as a Hawthorne resident. Mr. City Attorney, can you take a look at that and we clean up anything that's needed, please? Thank you, sir. Ralph Lawson, you can be joined by your wife, but one person addressing at the same time, at one time. So if she would like to join you, Ms. Kathy Lawson, go ahead. Mr. Ralph Lawson and Kathy Lawson. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. Yeah, as I said, I'm Ralph Lawson. One, I want to thank the City Council and the city for the improvements. We're in the Holly Glen Park section. It's being improved and worked on. But our concern is that, one, is communication to us as residents. We live directly around the perimeter of that particular park. There is similarly, we'll say, circuit exercise equipment on La Cienega, and there's also that on Glasgow Park. So within 2 blocks, we have 3 of those circuit type equipments being installed or being utilized, with the last one being in the Holly Glen Park, which is directly, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but a little bit as close as you are to me, Mayor. And so we're looking out our front window at this exercise equipment. That park originally, when we moved in 36 years ago, was just a park where you came and had your child and they would walk through and those kinds of things. There's a little basketball court and tennis court in that area, but it was very much a community park. With this additional exercise equipment in its location, it encourages what we would feel would be a different set of community people coming into the community. We still have a situation that we work very diligently at keeping under control as kids and young adults parking after hours, after the park is closed, and those kinds of things. And so we do our best to try to minimize that. We think that would actually encourage that kind of activity in our community on 136 there. So, and then the method of communication that we had was via Hawthorne's social media, and then also through the association. And we're not on the social media page for Hawthorne. Typically, we've gotten things either mailed out to us, or at least for the 30 houses that might be in that community around the perimeter park, we're the most impacted by it. So we would have liked to have that communicated directly to us via mail or something of that nature, a phone call. So.
I did receive your request. I haven't got a message back from the president of that group, but
Okay.
I think as soon as I get that, I'll let you talk. I'll pass that on to you. But Mr. City Manager, we'd like to address that real briefly. I know you did respond to Mr. Mr. and Mrs. Lawson, so just quick feedback. It's good to put a face to the name, sir. So thank you for being here.
Sir. Thank you.
Good evening, and I apologize for any lack of communication. What the City of Hawthorne is doing with all our parks, we're making them uniform, and we're adding the same amenities for equality through the parks. What I noted in the email that we would monitor the situation the first 3 months, and if your concerns are actual true, we would come up with a secondary plan to correct that. So I would just ask to let the park be built, let the project be completed. We'll monitor it with our police department, our community service department, and if that issue that you're concerned about is there, we will address it.
Okay.
So you do have our ears and our eyes on this project, and I would just ask to give us time to get the project developed and see what the outcome will be. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
And but with having a secondary plan in place in case we need to move to that real quickly, right? But I think you also have a situation where our police need to get involved if there's people that are breaking park curfew.
Yes, sir.
That's a misdemeanor offense. Or, can you please quickly address that, Captain? Park curfew fines, like we're super brief.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Is anybody else wishing to address the city? Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. You do get to continue, ma'am, because.
And
you're
I
on
do
three-
have your contact information, so I
Yes,
will
sir.
reach back out to you if
Yeah,
needed.
Would you like to say anything, ma'am? Because you do have like your additional time as well.
Yes, I do want to address one issue. Since the park has been closed, we had come in from out to dinner, and there were young people, and you could smell it. They were smoking dope. It was about between 7:30 and 9 o'clock. So this goes on quite a bit. And once the park opens, and this was just a surprise that the park was closed and people were sitting in their cars loitering. So, but basically, I want to get through. On September 1st, we submitted a petition that was signed and stamped by the city clerk. Our concern is the renovation of the exercise equipment. In addition to this exercise equipment, it was installed without a survey of the affected residents that live directly across from the park. And like I said, we're concerned about the Holly Glen residents experience the effects of people loitering after hours, drinking. We've had liquor bottles, graffiti, and I did email you about the graffiti, and there still was some more, came later, and smoking dope, concerning in the late evening. This is our front yard, and safety is important with adults and teen equipment, and people using the park equipment as a potential hangout. This new equipment is a mix of children's playground equipment with adults. And I think children equipment is fine, but you're mixing adults and teens with that type, and they're really almost on top of each other. But I'd like to give some suggestions that the residents would like to offer, and we had a petition of some of the residents directly affected, and there's a couple of residents in our audience. We wanted to consider moving the exercise equipment to the Glasgow Strip Parkway so that adult equipment is with adult equipment. There's more space. The Holly Glen Park equipment area is congested and inundated with too much equipment in such a small area. And then also move either move the exercise equipment towards the center of the park near the parking lot. This would be less of an impact of parking and loitering of individuals in our neighborhood and safety in our neighborhood. This would minimize the casing of residents' comings, goings, package delivery, and property, because people are just lurking. And we would like some safety for us. Or plant some 5-foot cedar bushes along the block wall to give the residents a sense of privacy, to cover up the exercise equipment, and also plant more trees in front of the restroom. You know, one of the residents and we're some of the original owners, it was planning to put trees in front of the restroom. Well, the trees have grown. The guys came and trimmed them. Now all we see is restroom. And before we had beautiful trees covering. And the last thing is replace our neighborhood with neighborhood watch sign, and that have faded. We had neighborhood watch, they faded with the sun. So we'd like additional signs on lampposts in front of the homes by the park.
Ma'am, thank you for speaking, Mr. Lawson and Mrs. Lawson. You did have a grievance, but the nice part about it is that you gave us some options to consider. So can you note those, please? Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the city council? Please line up now. All people wishing to address the city council, line up, sir. All right, ma'am, go ahead. Right behind this lady right here. Go ahead, sir. You could go first.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused because this is my first time here.
Yeah, you're just talking to us and letting us know what's on your mind, sir. Go ahead.
Can I put this down?
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
I think we're okay.
There we go. I'm also familiar with the Lawsons that were just here. And basically, I won't go over all of those things again. and I agree with them. But let me say this, I looked on your cityofhawthorne.org net, and those equipment, the gym equipment, is referred to as par course, because that's the way you explain it on your webpage. Now, the interesting thing is, if we look at the definition of par course, it says on the internet, lined along hike and bike trails around America stand solitary fitness stations, cumulatively referred to as par courses. These courses are designed to enable you to take your fitness routine from inside the gym to out in the park. Unfortunately, the definition continues, they don't receive nearly the amount of attention that they should. So let me say that last line again. Unfortunately, they don't receive nearly the amount of attention that they should. Well, what does that mean to you? I don't know. But I can tell you what it means to me. It means that those par courses, that gym equipment, is not essential to the communities on a national level. So what I'm saying to you is, if that's the case, why do we have them to begin with? There's no need to put them in Holly Glen Park. There's some there already in the Glasgow Place Park, and I drive by there very often to do my errands, and there's nobody using them. So I'm going to have to agree with this definition that they have zero value. And that's what I'd like to convey at this particular point in time, zero value. So I'd like you to reconsider that from that position, because I don't think the Hawthorne community is going to use those equipment. And really, they're ugly. I think they're hideous, to be honest with you. So I live across the street from the park, Holly Glen Park, near where the Lawsons live. And I hope that they're not used any place. I'd just remove them entirely. They're a failure in business. That's the way I see that definition. I'll give it to you again. Unfortunately, they don't receive nearly the amount of attention that they should. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, go ahead.
I'm still a miss. Amy Shepard, 139th and Doty. I don't think the mayor got the joke. I'm not a ma'am, I'm a miss. Thank you. I am a candidate for Hawthorne City Council this year, and I just want to invite you guys all out tomorrow night to Meet California for dinner between 5 and 8 p.m. They have a new owner down there. They're doing some live entertainment. I know some folks here have mentioned that they like to see a few more entertainment venues in the city, so I'm really happy that the new owners are looking at live music and different kinds of events and trying to partner up with Los Robles Grill, who I think is also under new ownership. So I'd like to just invite everybody out for that. One thing that I would like to mention, just because it's coming up on Nextdoor so much, and I haven't heard the city council talk about it, is the coyotes. It seems like there's a lot of issues in all the different neighborhoods. I just got a new dog myself, so I am a little bit worried about taking her out for a walk. She's like 3 pounds, and you know, I don't really have a lot of defense against a coyote if it were to come through the neighborhood. And then the last thing I want to talk about is we're talking about all the events and all the parties, and I know we have a cleanup day coming in October. I just like to remind everybody that Moneta Gardens has trash like every day down Doty and Yukon and Kornbloom. A lot of illegal dumping happening every single day. I don't want to blame the residents because I really do feel like it's evictions happening for the apartment tenants, and that the owners are just placing the trash out there and not calling Republic Services. So I don't know if there's some kind of mechanism that we can have to get the apartment owners to be a little bit more responsible, maybe an administrative fine by code enforcement or something like that, because there's a repeat offenders every single day. It's the same apartment owners over and over and over again. So if we could just maybe come up with a plan for those guys, I'd be really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Kyle Orleman, and I just have a quick comment. I noticed that there's something on the agenda tonight about putting speed humps on several of the streets, and I don't know about the rest of the streets, but I know I travel on Corderi very, very, very regularly. And I have a question as to why the recommendation is being made for speed humps there, because the problem is that you can't get down that street because people are double parked on both sides. So you have both sides of the people parked, and then people staggered, double parked. So when you're trying to go down Corderi, you're having to weave in and out between the cars that are there, and you can't get to any kind of speed at all. It takes quite a while to get down that street. I don't know about the part from 139th down to Rosecrans, which is one of the areas that you're talking about putting the speed humps on, but I guarantee you that the area of Corderi between 135th and 139th is almost impassable because of the double parked cars. So I'm just asking what the basis is for making the decision to put speed humps on there, and perhaps that should be reconsidered. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anybody further wishing to address the city council. The oral communication portion of this meeting is adjourned. All right. We're going to move an item up. I'm going to see if everybody's okay with moving a specific item up, but first we need to do the consent calendar.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I have 5 items on the consent calendar. There are items 5 through 9 for your consideration and approval. Item 5, approval of waiver of full readings for resolutions and/or ordinances on tonight's agenda. Item 6, city treasurer's request approval of the warrants. Item 7, city treasurer's request approval of the warrants for September 13th, 2022. Resolutions, item 8, resolution number 8378, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, proclaiming the month of October 2022 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Item 9, resolution number 8379, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, approving and authorizing submittal of applications for all Cal Recycle grants in which the City of Hawthorne is eligible for adoption.
I'll move.
Second. Please vote, everyone.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes. That concludes my consent calendar, Mr. Mayor.
How are we looking with these other items? Can we just breeze through them real quick? Or what do you- okay, resolutions. Let's go through the resolutions. I think we'll get to 18 real quick. Okay?
Okay, so we're not going to do the bids?
No,
right now?
let's just go right after, just resolutions.
Just keep it going?
Yeah, resolution, item 8 now, right?
We're not, we're
No.
now in 10.
I'm so sorry.
We're on item 10.
I was just trying to keep track of some. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Bids.
Item 10, now is the time and place to declare publicly received sealed bids for housing maintenance 2022, rehabilitation of city-owned properties, various locations, city project number 22-06. Public Works Department declaration of publication filed. No bids were received for this project.
Okay. So are you
I'm
gonna-
sorry, real quick, to the chair.
Yes.
Just one question.
Yes.
I don't know who to make this out to. Just because there was no bids for item number 10, can we do a rebid? That's all I have to say. Thank you. Go ahead, Mayor.
Noted.
Or, okay, so, yeah, let's just put it back out to bid. So we get something, right?
Yep.
Item 11, go ahead.
All right. Now is the time and place to declare publicly received sealed bids for the Highway Safety Improvement Project Traffic Signal Upgrade and Reconstruction of 120th Improvement Project, Prairie Avenue to Felton Avenue, City Project number 21-06. There are 3 bids received. All were accompanied by bidders' bonds. The prices are as follows. Comet Electric Inc., $3,929,711. Elecnor Belco Electric Inc., $4,593,245. Select Electric Inc., $4,582,493.
Okay, so we have a motion?
I'll make the motion. You want-
Second.
Okay.
Please vote. to accept these bids?
Councilmember English?
Yes, I made
Oh,
the motion.
your vote didn't go through.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The vote for it.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
I believe, yeah, this, item 12 should be straightforward. Go ahead.
Item 12, ordinance number 2234, second reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, amending section 2.32.010, positions not included, and 2.32.020, positions included after chapter 2.32, classified service of Title II, administration, civil service, and personnel for adoption.
I move.
Second.
Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
For general matters, item 13 has been pulled, so we'll move on to item 14.
Item 14, overview of the South Bay Cities Council of the government's fiscal year 2022 through 2023 membership dues. Recommended motion, staff recommends that the city council receive and file services provided by the South Bay Cities Council of Governments.
Mr. City Manager, I know there was a question about that. Could you just give us your brief?
Absolutely. In this staff report, I listed other directive from Councilmember Reyes English of other associations that we partner with. If you take a look at the second page there, I think you have independent cities, contract cities, SAG, you have the COG, and these are some of our network League of Cities that we work with on a yearly basis.
ICA, I think.
Yeah, but the cost for each of the organizations that we're a member to. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to abstain like I did previously, but if we could just get the cost for all of, I'm just trying to prove a point with regards to the amount.
Well, the amount is much lower, much lower. I can prove that for you.
Exactly.
I make a motion?
Yeah, that's my concern, the 39,000 for a membership to a city, beach, or not a city, but an organization.
Second.
Right, please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes, except for council member Reyes English abstaining.
Okay, so let's see how who pulls or whatever the heck happens right now. Can you read the items, please, sir?
Yeah, the city manager's consent
Yes,
calendar?
so, yeah, I just want to make sure we.
Item 15, progress payment number 3 in the amount of $1,094,366.75 due to Sequel Contractors, Inc. of Santa Fe Springs, California for local street improvement project 2022, project number 22-04. Item 6, construction of speed humps on Cordery Avenue between 135th Street and Rosecrans Avenue. Item 17, construction of speed humps on Cedar Avenue, Freeman Avenue, Menlo Avenue, Oxford Avenue, and York Avenue between 126th Street and Railroad right-of-way. Item 18, appropriation of $150,000 in funds to nonprofits in the city of Hawthorne. Item 19, amendment to the current agreement contract Hawthorne Police Management Supervisor Group. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the city manager's consent calendar. May I have a motion?
I'd like to pull number 16.
And 17. No, well,
To the chair.
I'll be pulling item 18.
Yeah, because I have to
No,
excuse
that's fine.
myself.
But I'll be pulling item 18 to be discussed right at the end, so you could do everything at the end. But we're not going to talk about 18 until we get to the point.
I'd like to
Anybody
pull
else?
16.
Okay.
Pull 17.
16, 17. Okay. I make a motion on item 15 and 19. Those are the only ones that were
Second.
not pulled.
Second.
Okay. Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Discussion on 16.
Okay, I'm concerned at this point that the speed humps on Cordery, based on the comments made by Ms. Orleman, that the speed humps may disable or may hurt the ability for ingress and egress on that street. So I'd like to ask the city manager if we could have a discussion about what considerations were made before the decision was made to put speed humps there.
If you recall, at the last meeting, city manager's staff was given direction. It was voted on to move forward with speed humps on this location. So staff assessed the area, did a study, and came back with a staff report for approval.
Okay.
If additional information is needed, I can have Public Works come and speak on this matter.
Yeah, I would really appreciate that because I don't want to make a situation worse if this is going to cause a situation where the residents have a difficult time
Let me go.
navigating that street.
I'll pass it on to you, sir. Mr. City Manager, so once we ask for speed humps on the street, our staff does a report and sees the viability and does the necessary traffic considerations before they give their blessing, right?
Absolutely,
So
yes.
I'm probably going to want to move ahead with this.
So you're saying that's already been done? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that was completed between the time of this meeting, last meeting and this meeting.
Councilman Montero?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, the reason is because people are speeding on that street and putting children's life at risk. And that is not because a lot of parents and residents from, actually they was asking for speed bump to start at El Segundo and Cordero all the way to Rose Grand because people keep speeding on that street, even if they have both parking, both sides, but there is individuals speeding on that street every single day that put children at risk. You have Praya Vista corner right there on 135th. Then you have the preschool down the street. So, and this is something that parents been asking over and over again. And the resident is the one who brought to my attention again. And that's what I gave the directive the last time. And that's the consideration, is to save life. Because we see that speed is going on in every single street in Hawthorne. Even today, one of the constituents telling me that even on 135th, there is a speed bump already between Inglewood and Ramona. But when they go up to that little hill and they go down towards Hawthorne Boulevard, they speed. And there was an accident there recently.
Mm-hmm.
So all these cars has been speeding in our streets, and that is where you see Ramona track. All the streets have speed bump because it was in the past they were speeding on those streets. So the same thing is happening in that Monino Gardens area. They speeding on Cordero, they're speeding on Lamoli, they speed all over Dory, and so we need to protect those children.
So I just want to highlight again that when we get a request for a speed hump, of course we have to gauge it ourselves personally, say, okay, I would support that. But we put it before staff, and staff tells us, yes, you can do it, or it's a traffic problem, okay, where there could be accidents because of it. So, staff it's their role to tell us that this would not work. So there's been times when we've asked for speed humps, and they said no.
They say no, yeah.
Let's look at another option. Let's have like a flashing traffic light, stop sign, or slow down, or whatever the heck. Okay, so I'm not ready to stop this from moving forward because of just one piece of feedback from the one resident. So I'm ready to move ahead.
I make a motion.
Second.
If I can add one more item. Direction was given to add speed humps from El Segundo to Rosecrans.
Okay.
Staff came back after the study, revisit the study, and gave a recommendation from 135th to Rosecrans.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not trying to. So the request for a speed hump, I'm pretty sure you took that almost as a directive for staff to study what the man said about his son and Gail, right? So similar. Public Works will tell us if we can or can't, or if there's another different thing we need to do. Please vote. It's been a motion was made by Councilmember Montero, then second. Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
So 17.
Item 18.
Yeah, go. No, that was 16
Oh,
only.
you pulled 17
I have
also?
pulled 17.
Oh,
Just
okay.
really the same question, Joe. I know the speed humps on 17 is a different part of Hawthorne, and I'm sure it's similar reasons, but just want to kind of the explanation as to how it ended up, on the agenda.
Well, if you recall from last meeting, I was given direction to look into the railroad tracks crossing that do not have arms, or do have arms, but no lights. Maybe Akbar can
No,
help me
they
out
do
with
not
that.
have arms.
Do not have arms. And due to the speed, Public Works felt in the best interest of safety that speed humps at these entrances would create a safer environment. And I do have our new Public Works Director here that can lead me or assist me in questions.
Oh, that's not necessary. It's just wanted to address.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I just make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead. Of
Thank you
course.
to the chair.
Absolutely.
So the concern from the constituents with regards to the railroad, what's happening is, from what I understand, is cars are speeding down the street, they're hitting the railroad, and then they're going airborne.
Oh, wow.
So the safety there, one, the railroad does not have arms, and, you know, they have to continuously blow their horns, right? But when vehicles are speeding, they're not paying attention to that, and when you hit the railroad, it makes this crazy sound, and they land hard, like airborne hard. Yeah, that's what I was, okay.
Who would like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Councilmember Montero, item
Oh,
18.
Yeah, I have to excuse myself because of conflict of interest, because two of those recipients, I have connection with them. So I'm going to step aside.
Thank you, sir. I voted for two. What about me?
Item number 18, I move.
Second.
And I want to go ahead with it too, but I have a quick discussion. You want to do it after the vote? We could do it after the vote.
Okay, please
That's
vote.
fine.
Well, okay, how about can you recite who the recipients are first, so everybody knows?
Absolutely, and give quick history on this item. During the March 3rd meeting, city staff created a staff report that spoke about $150,000 donation from a community partner to allocate to benefit residents of Hawthorne. What staff did under my leadership was create a committee with 6 employees from housing, community services, finance, city manager's office, and our intern in planning. We vetted maybe 19 applications. We would like to move forward with 4 applicants for funding. And the good news that we have additional rounds that will be vetted for additional funding. We did reach out to those other applications to notify them of changes and questions regarding their applications. And we would like to move forward with the 4 recipients to receive the funding. And we actually have those individuals here to speak about the program and what they plan to do with the funds that City Council will allocate to them this evening.
I think we're okay. We don't need that. So
Make a motion.
can you just recite who they are based, or I can say it, Hawthorne Historical Society, the Hawthorne Historical Society, the Hawthorne Parks and Rec Foundation, the Hawthorne School District, and the South Bay Universal Child Development Center, which I believe is the Castle, I believe, right? Castle. Okay, so those are the 4 recipients. Please, so do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Already move.
Oh, you moved?
And then who seconded?
I will second.
You had second, right?
That's fine.
All right, please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes. Councilmember Montero excused himself from this vote.
Yeah, he still can't come in because we have a
Yes.
discussion on it.
Correct. Thank you. To the chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to make sure that the nonprofits here in the city of Hawthorne, including churches, understand that this is an
Hold that,
opportunity.
please. Yeah, we're still discussing it.
No peekaboo. There's a grant that's available to you if you're a nonprofit here in the city of Hawthorne, and that includes churches. So there's going to be another round of monies available. So I highly encourage, again, if you're a nonprofit, a church that is longstanding here in the city of Hawthorne, that could benefit the community of Hawthorne through these monies that are ultimately received, I encourage you, please, to reach out to the city, especially Vaughn, and see how you could apply, provide your information, and the good works that you're already doing, so that you could make additional efforts to do more work. So that's for the record out there. If you hear that there's monies available, yes, if you're a nonprofit with longstanding here in the city of Hawthorne. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Montero can come back in.
Mayor, would you like me to hand out the checks, or would you like?
I think we need to move forward. Keep moving forward, sir.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, we just need to keep moving forward, only because of the. And Well, actually, let's have them come up here for a quick picture with all the recipients. Just come up to the front, please, so that we can have a quick picture. I think that's part of what we were asked to do. Okay. So we have okay. So I would like to ask all my colleagues to please come up so we could take a picture with the recipients, please.
Try to spend that money locally.
Congratulations again.
Good to see you, Dick.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations to you guys. And as my colleagues have mentioned, let's make sure that we have more applicants. There's some money that we have that we'll be able to, they're not large quantities, but they could help with some certain things to maybe just pay off a couple of things and pieces of equipment that you might need. Okay? City Attorney's consent calendar. Mr. Clerk, can you please read it for the City Attorney, please?
Yes, item 20, approve settlement of lawsuit, Mary Ann Miller versus City of Hawthorne, Hawthorne School District. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the City Attorney's consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve item 20?
Motion
Approve. Second.
So the motion's been made by Councilwoman Valentine. Second is from the Mayor Pro Tem Patterson. Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Okay, we have a closed session, so I'm gonna ask my council colleagues straight up, just let's make this as quick as possible. I know. Actually, we highlighted some of the events we had, so I think that's already a substitute for a lot of the things we need to talk about, but Mr. City Treasurer?
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I don't really understand exercise equipment. A lot of times it's just where dogs go to the bathroom, but that little part about Holly Glen, I always, like sometimes my kids climb on it or, you know, it's wood and it's got splinters, but I never really see anyone using it for workouts. But I think, you know, if it's a parkour course, that's kind of cool. But no, I don't. And then also maybe the city, like if we could hire Mr. Gumlick to just review the whole entire city code. That was really amazing that he pulled out all those details for that stuff. But that's just how it goes with, you know, laws and codes and all that stuff. You know, they just get, you know, passed on and all that stuff. So yeah, and I wasn't able to attend one of the special meeting about the priorities for the city, but I did view it on YouTube. And you know, one of the things I kind of, you know, for a red dot would be considering like the importance of having, you know, strong reserves, just because, you know, being on a path to grow reserves, again, it's not as like sexy and, you know, awesome and seeing something being built, but I think it also really helps like the state of mind of the people that are running the city to kind of come from a place of, you know, calm and level-headedness to kind of, you know, do it. Because I'm sure maybe some of you up here have experienced when the city was, you know, stressed out, and it just makes decisions a lot harder and, you know, complicated. So it's not a very, you know, building something or transforming something, but it's an important peace of mind, I think, to have, and a good priority in my mind. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback, sir. Mr. City Clerk?
All right, turning the timer on myself. I will keep it short. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Holly Park will be hosting a candidates forum next Friday, October 7th at 6 p.m. It's going to be held via Zoom, so for voting information and details to attend the candidates forum, please visit the city clerk's website and click on the link labeled Election Information and Voting, then click on the date for this upcoming election. It's also going to be provided on our the calendar for our city's calendar. I also want to congratulate everyone who was involved in the World Fest. We hosted a table, the city clerk's office did, and we were able to help a few people register to vote and just inform them on, on just the privilege that voting is. So this is also a reminder that we have until October 24th to register to vote by mail or online. I also want to thank the volunteers who came out to package and provide produce to the community last Friday and Saturday. We'll be in front of City Hall on Saturday, October 8th, starting at 9 a.m. until supplies last. And that is all. So yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Valentine?
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to reiterate what was said earlier about the noise complaint. I encourage the lady, Ms. Messenger, and anyone else who has a complaint about aircraft noise to come to the KHHR Community Noise Committee. It'll be the third Thursday, I don't know the date offhand, of this month at 6 p.m. at the Memorial Center, and you can express your concerns about noise. That's exactly what that committee was instituted for. The second thing I'd like to ask, and obviously there's some concern about the equipment over in the Holly Glen area. I would like to, to know what how the community really feels about that equipment, and I would like to give the city manager a directive to work with the Lawsons and anyone else who has concerns about equipment over there and reconsider the placing of that equipment over in that area, working with the community to see whether they want it at all, and if they do, where is the best place to place it? Because we don't want to put equipment in an area where the people don't want it. So I would like to ask the city manager to reconsider that and to work with the Lawsons. And that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Montero?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I want to say thank you to the constituent and for the people that come in and express their views and their concerns, and especially the aircraft noises, all the planes making a lot of noise. I understand it because even I live right here on Ramona and Broadway, and the planes are taking off 12:30 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. So, and they're making a lot of noise. So definitely, I'm going to go to that meeting on the Thursday at 6 p.m. And I went to a breakfast with some people at Holly Glen. They were complaining about those little jets taking off because now they take off all the way up to, they have to get the speed and the altitude over the
aviation, huh?
Aviation. So they're going out of it. So it's been crazy, and I understand your concern, ma'am. I want to say again, thank you for the staff and the residents for participating in the World Fest, because like we said, Hawthorne is so diverse. We need to celebrate culture, and even this month was the Hispanic Heritage Month, so it coincide for us to celebrate culture and different diversity in the world. I just want to say thank you to the Centinela Valley for inviting me for the community partner breakfast that I attended last week. And I also attend a function that will celebrate 20 years of the community choice. That it was a bill passed in Sacramento that gave communities choice to choose their electric providers. Like us, we choose the Clean Power Alliance, and as October 1st, the Hawthorne is going to go 100% clean. So all the 28,000 customers that have signed up, I appreciate that, because so far there is 0.001% default. So it's very good. And I also attend the Southern California BizFed PAC. They invited me over there, so thank you very much. And again, for those of you that are doing candidate debate, I would appreciate if you contact me on my cellular phone 310-686-5464, 310-686-5464, because my email, my campaign email that is on my website and the social media has been hacked. So it has been hacked, and the Google has suspended that account until they do investigation. So please contact me via my telephone, because send me text message, send me those Zoom links, because if you send us that email, I'm not going to get it. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Reyes English, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to be really quick. Congratulations to all the recipients that received your award this evening. Kudos again to the Hawthorne Police Department and the Hawthorne Police Officers Association and all the groups and organizations that had events and functions. Well done. I'm going to be hosting my, I think it's 16th annual Operation Gobble, giving away turkeys to needy families. And I also need to just make mention that the city clerk's office has also been donating foods for some time now, at least over 2 years. And so I just want to acknowledge the efforts from the city clerk's office. And I do hope whoever is ultimately elected will follow suit, because it's been very instrumental in providing for those who are in need. And right now there is a great need, especially with the cost of groceries at our grocery stores. So just kudos to, again, everyone, and good meeting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tem Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank the community for coming out, making your voices heard, letting us know what's important to you. That's super important. I super value that. I want to thank all the staff for all of your hard work and everything you guys do in the community. Especially, I want to also, let's say, thank the event organizers for all the great events that are going on in the community, in conjunction with staff for supporting these event organizers, for helping, our residents have these great experiences. I think it's these community events that kind of make our city a community, not just a city where people live in. I want to thank our police department as well for your hard work and your spirit of giving back to the community as well, outside of what you do as a service to the community. I want to bring some attention to the Hawthorne's virtual city hall. Mr. City Manager, I don't know if you can maybe organize some kind of presentation for everybody to really understand what that looks like. We have an app that's kind of part of that, which is something that I had hoped that would come to the Hawthorne for some time. I know I had something I was pushing for some time ago, but the app is spectacular. You can go ahead and download it and communicate with the city, report things, trash, potholes, all kind of stuff to the city through that app. Is super cool. And so I love that have a more of a robust presentation about that. And if we can add my email address to my profile on that app, that'd be great. Very proud of that. I want to confirm that we're going to have a meeting on November 22nd. I know it's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I just want to make sure that we have a lot of important things we need to get done between now and the end of the year. I don't want to take off any unnecessary days. I've had some residents still complain to me about not knowing which Fridays City Hall is open or not. If somebody actually at my job had a great idea, if we can have on our website like a banner across the top on the website that talks about when the next day City Hall is going to be closed. So instead of just kind of putting somewhere on the website it's closed every other Friday, you say, hey, on the October 7th, City Hall will be closed. And then after, when Saturday comes, it updates to, September, whatever, City Hall is closed, or whatever the case might be. So if people go to the website, it's just, it's news. And if there's a holiday as well, that'll be listed at that banner also. I ran into our new assembly person, Tina McKenna, and she requested that we have the council come and meet with her to kind of talk about what's important to her. I want to see, Mr. City Manager, something you can organize with her office. Obviously, hopefully the entire council can make it and be nothing that'll be discussed there that'll be on the agenda, so it'll be no Brown Act violation. But it gives opportunity kind of to get to know our assembly person. We've had a couple businesses have challenges get licenses in the last couple months, and I know, Mr. City Manager, you're familiar with some of these restaurants, and they've reached out to all the council people and to you and all that stuff. I just wanted to ask if you can just make sure that whatever lessons we could have learned from that experience on our side, that we've identified those. We definitely want to make sure that Hawthorne is a business-friendly city. And, somebody threw out an idea of maybe even having a liaison to help kind of support businesses and understanding if their application is wrong or what the next step is or whatever the case might be. That's something to kind of look into, what kind of possibilities exist there. And then lastly, I had somebody reach out to me who coaches women in basketball, wanting to have had something like that along with the basketball program we did with the police department. And so if you kind of look into maybe, what's possible to kind of do some kind of women's program, make sure that one of the things I would share with me is a lot of women drop out of basketball because, they're not really, there's really no focus on helping them to build their skills and be good enough where the guys want to really play with them and pass them ball and all that stuff. So we want to make sure that all our young women have something to do and can participate in that sport and all that stuff. So if you can kind of look into a way to kind of combine that with the basketball academy we already did. And I know one of our commissioners used to play some pro ball, Dr. Sanford, if maybe she might want to volunteer for something like that as well. And I don't know if there's any way I can donate some money for my stipend to Operation Gobble, but I'd like to do that as well. Thank you.
Can I have a second? Can I have a third? Can I have a fourth donation? Thank you so much.
Good. All right, thank you all. And are there any go backs? Because I'm not gonna go back after my, Councilwoman, yeah, see? Okay, announce that,
Community
please.
Cleanup Day, October 8th, next Saturday.
Exactly. Councilwoman Valentine, you have a go back?
I have no go back
You're a
tonight.
big, you're the
And there is a food drive tomorrow.
food drive as well. There's many things that
Tomorrow.
we're at. Can you give us details, sir?
Well, there is a food drive tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. in the morning at the Betty Answorth parking lot. It's a collaboration between the City of Hawthorne and the LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell. So we're going to be giving food away from 9 to 12, correct, Juan? Yeah.
Okay, thank you for reminding us of those two events, guys. And I guess for my comments, we did have a planning session forecasting the future economic development where we had this event at the Hawthorne Memorial Center. And there was a lot of great ideas that came about this. And there's a lot of different ideas on how we can move forward as a city and make things happen here in the city. So we were able to do the red dot exercise to find out what we thought about the different things that were put forth, and we had a priority about that. So we had strong feelings about what directions we should go, et cetera. But at the end, I think we have something that we could work from, Mr. City Manager, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. I did speak to the consultant. He's working on the final numbers, and he will bring it back to council and the dais for presentation.
Okay, so we did get something that we can work with and that we could look at and maybe just work here on the dais. So thank you so much, Mr. City Manager, for your efforts and putting that together, okay? Thank you so much. I want to congratulate the North Hawthorne Community Association on their picnic. Many members of the dais here of the City Council attended, and I believe some of the members, the City Clerk and the Treasurer did also. So thank you for always having these great events, as well as the other neighborhood associations that have their different events, like, for example, the Movies in the Park, some picnics that they have. Ramona has had their picnics, and so there's just many events, the walk around the block, etc. So congratulate all the groups that are out there, the community associations, and in this case, North Hawthorne Community Association. So I also want to piggyback on the app. We do have an app, but it hasn't been promoted, okay? So as heavily as it should. A lot of other cities have that thing as their central way of communicating with the community, and they're promoting it ad nauseum, making sure that everybody has it on their phones. So if the city clerk's office needs to get a message out there, that's where it comes through notifications from that app, okay? Different things that we want them to know about. That's where they get their notification. Why didn't I know about this? Why didn't I know about that? Well, it's, I mean, we can't lead a horse to, what do they say? Lead the horse to water, make a drink or whatever. I don't know, something about leading the horse to water. Okay?
Lead the
But-
horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah, but we can make it easy and palatable for them to drink. I don't know, that just doesn't make sense, but we got to make it easier for people to basically download this thing and know about it, okay? So, and I'd like to take a look, and maybe we could see what things we can clean up on that app. I also, so three of the neighborhoods called me up within this last 2 weeks, and I went and took a look at the Holly Glen. At the Holly Glen Park, I did go take a look at the gym equipment there, and I understand what they're asking for, but I want to stick to what we had originally planned, which was that we would open it up and see how it went and then get some feedback based on that. I'm not saying that their concerns, anybody's concerns are legitimate, but if you don't know what's going to happen and try to predict, we got to see what's going to happen and give it a good fair 2 months or 3 months to be able to see how it actually develops. We had some great suggestions as what we could do, and so maybe people are happy, but I can understand what their concerns are about, so we need just to see how it just develops, okay?
And then how would you follow up if they're not satisfied?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they'll make their concerns known. But with regards to that, the Holly Glen Homeowners Association was notified, and I think you did put out notices, didn't you, Mr. City Manager?
Absolutely. We held 3 community meetings at the park. We had a ribbon cutting at the park.
All right, so you know what, so. All right.
With our engineering department there, myself, community services.
At the park?
And most of the feedback was that they wanted new exercise equipment. And I understand that the people that were here today have they're skeptic about it, but I would just ask again, give it 3 months, let's test it out, let's work with PD, let's work with the community service department. If there is a problem, we will address it.
I think that's fair, and you had those 3, so just bring it out, bring out those dates, and just have those dates available, and that you held those events, because, you know.
I'm going to throw my 2 cents. Can I throw my 2 cents in?
My time, okay, go ahead, Rick.
I just want, for all fairness, folks need to understand that these parks redevelopments and projects that happen is because of grants that are provided to us, that we work hard to champion and get. And so keep that in mind. There's a lot of work that goes into our parks and providing upgrades and renewals and things that are needed so just keep that in mind. Grants are important to us, and there's a lot of people working hard to get us what we need.
Yeah, I know, and when we do things here in the city of Hawthorne, it's to bring amenities to the city's residents that they haven't had previously, and try to make things better, so we appreciate people sharing their concerns. The Ramona residents, a group of 5 families, called me over to talk about a homeless encampment that was behind one of the stores along Hawthorne Boulevard. They went to show me, and I've already relayed that information to our city manager. City manager responded, sent out our task force. We helped the homeless people that were there. They're now have moved along, and most likely, hopefully, are getting resources. So thank you, Mr. City Manager, and our police for taking care of that. Yeah, talked about the Ramona residents, and a group of Holly Park residents met with me at the Holly Park, and we talked about some of the issues that were there that occur with people parked in their cars, smoking dope, etc., and kind of what's happens at a lot of parks. Okay, guys, so. They share their concerns. I talked to the city manager as well. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. I talked to the city attorney about this, so thank you. And police were involved, and they took care of this. So thank you guys all for putting in your part in solving these concerns for the residents. So thank you guys all for participating today and sharing your concerns. I know the aircraft noise is a little bit more than you expect, but you know, my family moved when my family moved into 11981 York Avenue. Our family knew that they bought a house right under the Fight Pass. So if it's increased, it's increased. But we're very conscious that that's always existed. So we need to work with our FAA and make sure that they try to minimize the impact on the community within the parameters that they have. Okay. So let's try to work with our residents on that still. We have one closed session. Mr. Clerk, the item, please.
Yes, item 21, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9C, Administrative Appeals. Name of case 1 M&A Gabe versus City of Hawthorne Business and Film License Revocation. Jams Honorable Candace Cooper, retired. 2 M&A Gabe versus City of Hawthorne. Code Enforcement Citations, Barbara Craig.
All right. So when we come out, we're basically going to adjourn the meeting. So anybody who's in the audience can, they're not going to get much when we come back. Okay, so you guys can start heading home, making your way home, but we'll go in the back and take care of business. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address item 21? Seeing none, if there are no objections, I'll declare oral communications closed. So ordered. We will now recess the city council meeting to conduct a closed session for a conference pursuant to the agenda at 8:11 p.m. We are in recess.
At 23 million tons, organics are by far the largest material type landfilled in California each year. Fortunately, yard, food, and other organic waste can be recycled into compost and renewable natural gas. 1383 requires new rules and regulations to achieve a 50% reduction in organic waste disposal by 2020, a 75% reduction by 2025, and actions to make sure 20% of currently disposed edible food is redirected to Californians in need. Enforcement begins once the law takes effect on January 1st, 2022. Achieving these targets demands a new approach and substantial new investments to restructure the waste management system of the world's fifth largest economy. CalRecycle began rulemaking immediately after the law's passage in 2016. Jurisdictions should start planning now to meet the law's requirements.
1383 will affect every resident and every business in the state of California. CalRecycle is here to help local governments understand and implement this new program.
Start planning now to connect large food waste generators with your local food recovery organizations to help feed hungry people where you live. Start planning now to expand organic waste collection to all homes and businesses in your area and increase your local capacity to recycle this material. Start planning now for rate changes to fund these efforts, new ordinances for mandatory recycling and enforcement, and changes to existing franchise agreements or hauler permit.
Some of this is new and some of it requires more of what you've already been doing, but all of it requires planning now to make sure programs are in place by January 1, 2022.
Recycling organic waste is an essential part of the state strategy and one of the most cost-effective ways every Californian can reduce their own greenhouse gas footprint. Together, California will create a more sustainable future, combat climate change, feed more Californians, and improve the health of our people and our planet. CalRecycle is your committed partner in this effort. Get in touch with us to learn more about available support and resources to help you succeed. And talk to your staff about strategies for the next steps for 1383 implementation.
Yeah.
The City of Hawthorne has revised the Hawthorne Municipal Code 12.04.031 pertaining to sidewalk repair and maintenance. The revised code places new duties and obligations on the property owners adjacent to sidewalks in conformance with the California Streets and Highways Code. The revised municipal code section can be found online at the website shown on the screen. A copy of section 12.04.031 is also available from the city clerk's office. Property owners are encouraged to consult their own legal counsel or insurance companies if they have questions about the legal impact of the new code section.
at 8:41 p.m. We have met in a closed session for a conference pursuant to the agenda. For listed item number 21, City Attorney Kim, can you provide the readout?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Met in closed session. A report was provided to City Council. There was no reportable action taken.
Okay, if there's nothing further from council members or staff, this meeting is adjourned at 8:41 p.m.